So, hello everyone, my name is Anastasia Zuzugak, and today we have a great honor to talk with our guest, who is Commissioner of Enlargement Marta Kos, and we're very happy to have you here because you came to Ukraine and you find time to talk with us. So nice to meet you, and thank you for being here.
It's a pleasure. It's really good that media is, having interest what is going on between Ukraine and the European Union, and you play a very, very important role in this.
Thank you so much. It's really very important for us. So, in your previous interviews, you said that it is technically possible to open all 6 clusters in the negotiation with Ukraine to the end of the year. So, how do you assess Ukrainians' current progress for this time? And is this possible to have this, to achieve this to the end of the year?
I still think the same. So it is possible, especially because yesterday was a special day. We have finished the last screening process, meaning we went through, in all 6 screening processes, we went through more than 100,000 pages, comparing your legislation with the European legislation to see what needs to be done. So cluster 1 is ready to be open. This is the opinion of the European Commission, and I think that soon all the clusters, I'm optimistic in this year, should be also open. And what would this mean? For opening the cluster 1, Ukraine had to prepare 3 roadmaps, very important roadmaps. It is on the rule of law, it is on public administration and democratic institutions, and one action plan, it is action plan on the minorities. So if I put it together, the screening process is to see where are the possible gaps or shortcomings. But now, once we will be opening cluster by cluster or all at one, then we will really start to do, subject by subject or cluster by cluster to bring your legislation on the level of the European, meaning that, of course, Ukraine will have to do a lot of reforms which are needed. But this is something every candidate country has to do. The speciality or the specifics of your country is that you are doing this while bombs are falling on your country, and I am full of admiration, especially because negotiating process is difficult even for the countries which are really at peace, who have all the time, who have all the people, but you are willing to do this, so congratulations.
Thank you so much for these words. It's really very important for us. And, in recent statements, including, if I'm not mistaken, the Copenhagen meeting on September 2nd, you have said that Ukraine still has a long way into anti-corruption reforms, despite repairing the damage caused by July law from the NABU and SAPO. So, what key steps must Ukraine take in the nearest future to restore full trust of European Union?
Trust is something we have to build all the time. It is not just for the candidate countries, it is also for the member states. Sometimes we forget how this, I would say, soft category is important. Usually we speak about, as we before, clusters and chapters and benchmarks and action plans. But building trust is something where actually you help us to get a goodwill and the readiness of the member states to accompany you in this process. Yes, what happened on 22nd of July was a setback. It was repaired, not yet completely, but fighting the corruption will be one of the most important pillars in the first cluster we call fundamentals. Because it is so fundamental. Why is this important? There are many reasons. One of these is that Ukraine has already obliged itself to do this. Second reason is that we are already in the process to attracting private investors who will be helping with the reconstruction. Mm-hmm. The European money or the state money will by far not be enough. So we need more than 500 billion, probably even more. So when will the investors come? They will come, well, they will have legal certainty that whatever happens, their investments will be safe, that if they will have to go to the court, the court will rule independently. That's why we need, it's so important, independent anti-corruption institutions. But there is another very important point, and we have seen this also in July. Your people are very important, if I may say this technical corrective mechanism. So that your people went outside to the streets to protest against the government, risking that the bombs or drones will fall on them. It really shows the resilience of your people, and of course that you are really watching or people what the government is doing. And we also know from the surveys made that people see the fear of war, and on the second place is the fear of the corruption. So every government, and especially yours in this situation, has to take care about this.
Thank you for your words about our Ukrainian people. Really, be brave like Ukraine, as we said in Ukraine. So, maybe we should talk about another things. Well, you talked a lot about the importance with the dialogue with Hungary about the minorities in Ukraine, and of course Ukraine has actually implemented an action plan in this area, but unfortunately Budapest is still blocking the first clusters for some reason. So my question is, what concrete steps does the EU plan to address this situation, and do you see like a compromise maybe in the nearest future about this?
The action plan is ready but not implemented yet. So this is on the way, and this is a document, this action plan, which will enable us to open the cluster 1, but it has to be implemented. Yesterday I started my 3 days mission here in Ukraine, in Zakarpattia. I really wanted to see, how the minorities there are living. I visited a Slovak school, a Hungarian school. I attended the meeting of the Council of National Minorities, and I think that you have already done a lot. This council was founded last year also because of the minority protection. If I go a bit on a general level, protecting minorities is one of the most important pillars of our existence in the EU. So, whatever concerns Hungary is having, and we are taking them seriously, we can tackle all of this once we will open cluster 1. Yes, Hungary is demanding this, but we are also telling them, and I talk to them, that we will be able to do this. Their special needs perhaps once we will be able to open, and I hope that we will be able to overcome those differences in the near future.
Well, you said that EU accession is not only about formal criteria, but it's also about transformation of society and state according to Copenhagen criteria. So in what areas, apart from anti-corruption and minority rights, does Ukraine need most progress to ensure this process, the rule of law and democracy?
Thank you for mentioning that accession process is transformation or transition. We have been discussing today with the representatives of the civil society that Ukraine is in this transformation process, and I have done the comparison with my country Slovenia. We got independent in 91, but already in 96 we started to prepare for the EU accession, meaning that there were only 5 years after we got independent that we have started to go the European way. Your gap is 30 years. Yes. Meaning that while we have already gone the European way, you didn't. So this transformation and transition is therefore not easy, but this is the only way, and I always love to stress, you are not doing this transition just because of the accession. You are doing this transition because you have to change something in your country. And you know what happened in 2014 in Maidan, when you have clearly expressed the will that you want to have deeper relations with the European Union, at that time on the field of trade. So then you have already started. Back to your question, what needs to be done? It is the whole judiciary system. It is very, very much important, so that the people, the companies, everybody will have the certainty that it will be treated fair at the court. Then you have mentioned anti-corruption. It is the whole area of the rule of law. You have already mentioned minority rights. I would add media freedom. It's very, very important part, and of course public procurement. These are also part of the cluster 1, because you know public procurement is usually the area where corruption can be very quickly developed. But generally speaking, you know, the transition process is, and you have been mentioning the Copenhagen criteria. Through this transition process, you will make your economy more stable, more developed. So it will affect the prosperity of your people. Through this transition, you will make your institutions more resilient. And also through this transition, you will take care that you will be able becoming a member of the EU. And sometimes perhaps we should be more patient, or you should be more patient, that it cannot be done in 1 year, or if I say it figuratively, during one night. But you know, you have the support, or your government has the support of civil society organizations and of the people. And this is where actually it is also very important that you are also the one, you know, pushing the government to do what needs to be done.
Well, in the context of possible peace agreements with Russia, you have described EU membership as a political anchor for Ukraine security. So how can the EU strengthen this role, especially if NATO membership is not realistic in the nearest future?
It is realistic, I tell you.
I hope.
Especially, you know, whenever I come to Ukraine, I see development, positive development. And, you know, you are doing exactly what Europe is about. Europe is primarily a peace project. And when I have said that your integration or your membership will be a political anchor, it's important from this peace view. Why? There has never been a war on the territory of the European Union. It has been war in Europe. It started, you know, after the Second World War. It started in my country, in Slovenia, in '91. Then it went on much worse in Croatia and Bosnia. And now we have the war in your country. Meaning this peace project, you know, already some years after the Second World War, you know, the before biggest enemies, France and Germany, started to work together. So this is when I say this is the political anchor. Another important thing is it's about the European security. Important more than ever. And you know, security is not just a military security. You know, security is also ensuring that we will have enough food, enough water, that we will have housing, and also very important that your institutions will be resilient, that your democracy will be strong. For instance, just to name one example, I'm very happy that at the last parliamentary election now at the weekend in Moldova, the pro-European forces won. In spite of Russia invested 400 million in the so-called hybrid war to bring Moldova away from the European path, we already have seen how resilience and resistance the democratic institutions are. Meaning, once Ukraine will be able to this, and this is the beauty of the accession process, EU is helping Ukraine already and will even more through the accession process enable you that your democracy will be stable, that even if Russia will try again and again and again to destabilize you, I'm not speaking only about the military part, that you, with our help, will be resistant enough to go on the European way.
Thank you so much, because we know that Russia will definitely do that again and again. So it's really important for Ukraine to feel secure, here.
And it's already doing this, also in the member states. It's not only in Moldova, it's not only in Ukraine in a very bad way because of the war. It's already, it's doing this in the member states. We have seen this at the elections in Romania, elections in Poland, and we have to really strengthen also our resilience inside the European Union. And very soon in the autumn we will adopt at the European Commission level so-called democracy shield. So what kind of shield do we have to build to be able to preserve our security, democracy, the rule of law, everything?
I have only two short questions. First of all, about the Moldova and Ukraine. We wrote that in Brussels there are more and more proposals to separate the process of the accession to the EU of the Ukraine and Moldova. So, in your opinion, how realistic is that? And if it is in this case, will not it harm Ukraine?
The European Commission opinion is that we should open Cluster 1 together, so no decoupling. And this is very important, and especially now there is no difference between two countries in the sense of they are together, they understand the importance of going on together, and also the element we have to go on with the reforms. And I hope that very soon we will be able to find a green light also among the member states. So from the point of view of the European Commission, you have done your homework. Now we wait for a green light from the member states.
Great. And well, in your statements, you always talk about the role of Ukraine in civil society in reforms. So how does the EU plan to support it in wartime conditions, and if there are maybe example of successful cooperation that can be scaled up?
I love to tell that accession process is a whole of society project. And I love to quote Charles de Gaulle, former French politician, who once said that the politics is too important to be left to the politicians. So accession itself cannot be just the project of your government. It has to be accompanied by the whole society, and the NGOs or civil society organizations are playing a very important role. We give a lot of money for civil society organizations, not only in Ukraine, but also, for instance, in Belarus, also in Georgia. When Georgia started to go away from the EU path, we cut immediately the money for the government, but we have transferred more money for free media and civil society organizations. So, and here in Ukraine, I have to say that you have strong civil society organizations. For instance, they have helped us to prepare the 3 roadmaps, or your government, so they have been involved in this. I hope they will be part of the working group. They have also, have made a shadow opinion on what we are doing now in the accession process, and your government was clever enough to include them, just to name two cases. Why is this important? The civil society organizations play a kind of watchdog role. They are keeping the government accountable. There are some governments in Europe, also in the member states, who do not want to see strong civil society organizations. We want to make them stronger. This is another area where we are going a new way, so soon we will also adopt for the first time in the history of the EU civil society strategy, so to see even more how could we support the very, very important role they play in the society.
Thank you so much for our interview. I hope it was really very important for our readers and for people who would watch us. And thank you so much for your words, for your support. It was a great pleasure. So thank you so much. It was a great honor to talk with you.
The pleasure is all mine. Thank you.
Thank you so much.